Rev up your engines!
Scarface asks, Scotty, I just changed the front brakes on my 2004 Camry. Any advice to make them last as long as possible? Okay, if you want your brakes to last long, here's some good tips. One, realize that when you stop your car, the brakes turn the kinetic energy of your car into heat, and they dissipate them on the brakes and the rotor. So, say you're driving and there's a big puddle or there's a lot of water you're driving through. Don't be slamming your brakes on. One, it's not safe, you'll slide. But if you have red hot brakes and they hit ice cold water, it can warp the rotors, it can do damage. So, drive very cautiously when it's raining. Don't slam your brakes on them. And of course, if you want them to last twice as long, you want to make sure you brake conservatively. I'll give you an example. Years ago, my sister, who was a maniac driver when she was young, she knew how to drive. There's no arguing that. But she wouldn't look far ahead and plan. Where I'd be looking miles down the road, she's not. So if something happened, she'd slam the brakes on. She didn't hit anybody, but she'd slam the brakes on. Where if you look ahead and plan ahead and don't use the brakes that much, they can last a long time. I've had cars personally that I got 100,000 miles out of brake pads on a Toyota. If you want to be conservative, you can do things like that. And of course, one of the best ways to make your brakes last is by quality brake pads that are made well. The cheaper brake pads can often be so cheap that they just rub out. You know, every time you brake, a little bit of the friction material wears off. Made cheaply, it'll wear off too fast. I've seen cheap brake pads, believe it or not, that wore out in 7,000 miles. Now, those were people that braked all the time. The other thing is, and it may sound crazy, but I had a customer, he kept going through brakes and he was claiming I wasn't doing a good job. I said, let me go for a ride with you. And I went for a ride with him. He's driving down the road and he's got one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. Then I get out of the car and I watch him and the brake light's on the whole time. And I said, you know, you drive with your foot on the brake. He said, well, they taught us that way at driver's ed. Have one foot on the gas and one on the brake. And I said, no, you don't want to drive that way. So a lot of it has to do with your driving skills, too. Don't be an excessive braker who's always slamming on the brakes. Hunter Rucho says, Scotty, my sister's looking to buy a 2004 Jeep Liberty, and I want to know if they're good, reliable cars. And what should I look for when I'm buying the car? One, tell your sister never to buy those. Those are one of the worst vehicles Jeep ever made. They really started to make them cheaper because they wanted to try to sell more cars and lower the price a little bit over the better made Jeeps, and really the quality of those things is garbage. Sometimes, some years, the Jeep Liberties are rated as one of the worst 10 vehicles of the year. So I definitely would not buy that. If she wants to buy something like that, tell her to get something like a Toyota RAV4 or a Honda CR-V, something that's going to last a long time. And even with 100,000 miles, could still go another 100 or 2,000. But the Jeep Liberties, no, they're not good. You don't even want to. Martin Bross asks, greetings, Scotty. My question is, an older V8 stick-shift Mustang a good buy? Well, it can be if the car's in good shape. Realize that Mustangs, generally people buy them and they drive them hard. Well, you can drive a standard transmission pretty hard without doing any damage. But an automatic transmission, that's another ball game entirely. You'll often burn out the automatic transmission. The first things that I see go out on V8 Mustangs are their automatic transmissions. Since that's got a standard, it can be in good shape. You still want to check it out. You know, I've got videos how to quickly check out a used car, watch that, and do all those tests and stuff. But it's a much better buy than an automatic transmission that could have problems. And maybe it's weak, but it works okay now, and then 2 months later it breaks and costs you thousands. So it is better to get a stick shift on those. Jet Dave says, hi, I barely use my diesel pickup truck. Should I use a premium diesel like Shell V-Power to keep my engine healthy? Well, I would, because here's the thing about diesel fuel. A lot of people don't understand, and sometimes I can't even get it in my mind, but it's true. Diesel fuel, there is fungus that can actually grow inside diesel fuel. Gasoline, on the other hand, is extremely noxious and extremely caustic. Nothing grows in it. But diesel fuel just sitting there, there's fungus that can grow inside it, and it clogs everything up. So you want to have the highest quality fuel in that thing, and if you don't use it much, I would advise you to put some of those anti-fungal additives into the tank a couple times a year at least, because you don't want that stuff going in there and clogging it up. It's a completely different deal than gasoline.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.